first of all, we have four main types of reaction. يعني I will give you the four types of reaction, the four main types, in a very fast way. Okay. Okay. The first type of reaction is when two elements combine together, and this is called combination reaction. So it's called combination reaction. Like a combination reaction, this is the first type of reaction. Okay. So the first type of reaction is combination reaction, and combination could be between an element and element, element plus element, okay, or it could be between element and compound.
Is it charging?
Yeah, that's charging.
You sure?
Yeah. Element and element, element and compound, and finally between a compound and a compound. This is the last type, compound plus compound. So we have to take an example. First of all, element to element. That combination mean combination mean two elements combined together. It's called direct combination. And the opposite of direct combination, بالمناسبة, the opposite of direct combination is decomposition. Decomposition. You can ممكن دي نقول عليها composition. يعني ممكن نقول على ده composition. طيب, what's the difference between decomposition and composition? You have to know. You have to predict. You have to think. يعني لما نقول D, what's the meaning of D?
Like not.
Yeah, no. Or is the opposite of, so decomposition mean breakdown. يبقى decomposition reaction, so we have two types opposite to each other, composition and decomposition. Decomposition mean breakdown of a compound. Let's start by the first type, which is the combination reaction. Combination reaction is a reaction which takes place either between element and element, element and compound, or a compound and compound. Give an example for element and element that combine together. Can you give me an example? Yeah, give one example.
My book.
No, from your mind.
Fe and Mg.
Actually, you choose a very, very difficult combination which will never take place. Never a metal will combine with a metal. It's impossible. The two metal like each other. Either a metal and non-metal, or a non-metal and non-metal. Two non-metal can combine together, and one metal and one non-metal, but never to be metal and metal. Never.
Mg and Al.
Again, Mg is
Al
metal and Al is metal. Take a very simple one. Very simple one. Water composition. How water is composed? It's composed by the reaction of two simple elements. One of them is hydrogen and the other one is oxygen. So this is the first type of reaction, which is combination reaction or composition reaction. When oxygen and hydrogen combine together, what actually results? What is the result of these two reaction? Of this reaction?
H2O. H2O.
H2O. So the resulting is H2O. Okay. Can you balance this equation?
Yeah. Put a 2 in front of the H.
2 in front of the H here? Here?
Yeah.
Why? Why you put here?
No, sorry.
No, you're right, but why? I'm asking why you put 2.
So oxygen can be 2.
So here is 2 and 2 times 1 is 2. Be self-confident.
And then 2 another H.
2 times 2 equals 4, so we put here 2. This reaction is an example of direct combination between A and A, element and element. This one is element and element. Type. I will give you another example of combination between element and compound. For example, element like oxygen can combine with a compound like nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a compound, and oxygen is
An
element. So when they react together, they give nitrogen dioxide. Can you balance this one? Here is 3 oxygen and here's 2 only.
Put
So we have
two in front
here.
of the NO.
Yeah. Hmm?
And now there's 2, 4. So put 2 in front of this one.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah.
that's it. Right. بنتي بقيت شاطرة قوي في البالانس. Okay. A compound and compound. Combine with one compound. Put in your mind when a combination takes place, it provides or give one compound. يعني بص هنا احنا طلع لنا one compound. So 2 elements combine together to give one compound. This is a direct combination. The compound and compound. To give an example of compound and compound. You know that there is a compound called ammonia. Ammonia can combine with hydrochloric acid to give what's called ammonium chloride, NH4Cl. So this is an example of compound plus compound to give a compound. Okay? So we have 3 types of reaction in which there is combination. We took the example.
How is it a compound?
Hmm?
How is that a compound?
This one?
NH3.
أنا آسف نسيت أقول لك. ممكن ناخد شاي. شاي يبقى ظريف جدا. ميرسي أنا عايش هي ممكن تشربه بقى. أنا لسه يعني كل مرة بنفسها فيه. كل مرة كمان بعمل بقى على فكرة. يعني تعقدونا. طيب انت
Oh yeah, how do you know NH3 is a compound?
because it's formed of 2 different elements, nitrogen and hydrogen. Whenever there is 2 elements different, 2 or more, so it's a compound.
Okay.
A compound plus a compound give a compound. يبقى we have يعني انت you observe that in each type of this reaction we obtain only a single type of a compound, single compound, not 2 or more, right?
So if it's like H2O plus something else, then it's not a composition.
No, it's not decomposition. It depends on if they combine to give single compound, or if the next one will illustrate the difference between combination and the decomposition. So decomposition is the opposite. The opposite. When you take a compound and you break it down into 2, the opposite of combination. So let's take an example. Calcium carbonate. Calcium. You know, whenever you are asked to write calcium carbonate, how you will write calcium carbonate? You write the calcium first. And you'll put positive 2. أنا بفكرك بالكلام اللي احنا قلناه قبل كده. You'll write the calcium and we'll put positive 2, and then we'll put carbonate from your phone. Mobile phone you have.
Oh, I got
you
it.
You got it. Finally you got it.
I downloaded it. Fine.
Excellent. Excellent. Very big effort. Okay. So carbonate is negative chem.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to find it. Because my pictures didn't come back in order. So
No problem. No
Oh,
problem.
there it is. Okay, what is
You
it?
can arrange them by date. Dates that are taken.
But I got it from the computer
Yeah.
and then mixed. So they
From
all
the
came.
computer, you can arrange it through the computer.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What is it called?
Calcium carbonate. Carbonate CO3 is
Carbonate CO3 minus 2.
minus 2, and whenever you find positive and negative the same value,
Then it crosses out. So CO2.
يبقى you remove both of them, right? طيب احنا كده يبقى هنشيل دي وهنشيل دي. This is calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate, it can be decomposed by heat, and this is called thermal decomposition. Thermal mean heat. يبقى لما بعمله decomposition it will be broken into 2. Can you predict the two resulting compound? Can you predict them? When you break down this compound, what do you think the resulting compound will be?
Ca plus CO2.
Actually, it's good thinking, but there is nothing called CO3. There is no compound called CO3, but I think that you heard about what's called carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide will be resulting from decomposition reaction. You have to predict this.
How do you know?
because there is no other gas except carbon dioxide containing carbon. It's the most close is carbon dioxide. We have also carbon monoxide, but this is the closest one. بس هي خالص. Carbon dioxide plus the remaining is calcium oxide. Actually, you have to know whenever you see this equation. Maybe she will not ask prediction from you, but she will ask you to predict.
I have questions for prediction.
Okay, never mind. So when you predict something, you put in your mind what are the gases that result from decomposition. Put this in your mind, please. Gases that result from decomposition are oxygen and carbon dioxide, and sometimes nitrogen. Sometime. These are the gases that could result from decomposition reaction. فأنا لما بعمل decomposition مفيش حاجة اسمها CO3. Nothing is called CO3. So the only gas which contain carbon is called carbon dioxide. Actually, there is carbon monoxide, but carbon monoxide is not resulting from decomposition reaction. Carbon monoxide is not resulting from decomposition reaction. So the resulting gas is carbon dioxide, and then you subtract it from the first compound. When you subtract carbon dioxide, so there will be missing oxygen. You will attach it to calcium, so the resulting will be calcium oxide. By the same way, can you predict the following? You will predict the following alone. Okay. If we bring magnesium carbonate, when it is decomposed, what are the resulting compounds?
Mg plus carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide is right, but Mg alone is not right.
Magnesium oxide.
Magnesium oxide. So the resulting will be magnesium oxide.
Why oxide?
You subtract from here carbon dioxide, there will be missing oxygen. You will add it to the Mg. It's just prediction. It's a sense, common sense. It doesn't need studying by heart, because you will never study all the compounds in the world. So you have to put in your mind that you can predict some. Right. NaNO3. When it decomposes, gives by heat.
What does the triangle mean?
This triangle means heat, and heat means thermal. Thermal mean heat whenever it's heated. So it will decompose to give NaNO2 plus O2. This one is difficult for you to predict, but you can study it. Any nitrate, I will give you actually a rule. Okay, I will give you a rule. Anything that end with carbonate will give carbon dioxide. Anything that end with carbonate. ايه رايك في الرول ده؟ اي حاجه مكتوبه carbonate, so it will give carbon dioxide. Anything that end with NO3 will give oxygen. So study it. يعني انت you have to study it by heart.
So CO3 equals carbonate. Oxygen, NO3.
NO3 gives oxygen, and CO3 gives carbon dioxide. It's a rule. Okay. We will take another example. If I put here potassium nitrate, what do you expect potassium nitrate will give?
Will be potassium oxide.
Nitrate. It is the same. It's analogous for this one. They are analogous. They are the same. I only substitute sodium by potassium, so it's exactly the same. Exactly.
So KNO2
KNO2 plus
O2.
O2. Can you balance this equation for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Put a 3 in front of the K in the product.
Here. Why?
So I can put a 2 over there and we can.
You are looking for the oxygen, huh?
Yeah.
You want to balance the oxygen.
Wait, there's 4 oxygen.
If you put this is an odd number, right? Okay, how can you make it an even number of oxygen?
Divided by 2.
You put here 2, right? 2 times 3 equal, and when you put 2 here, 2 times 2 equal 4 plus 2,
Oh.
it's 6. Okay, and the same for this one, for this equation. Sodium nitrate when decompose NaNO2 تعملي balance ليها
2 and
2 and 2. Okay, I think this is enough, and we'll take the examples that she gave you. But keep in your mind, whenever there is carbonate, the resulting gas will be.
2. CO2.
Whenever there is nitrate, the resulting gas will be O2. There is a very complicated example, but it's I think I don't wish that she put it in your examples, which is something called copper nitrate. I will not go through it except if she give it to you. Copper nitrate, decomposition of copper nitrate. You know, copper nitrate, when it decomposes, it gives 3 compound, not 2 compound. Huh?
There it is.
So it's a direct combination. So it's no problem. It's very easy. And here is the single substitution. Okay. So it's not difficult. These examples are not difficult. No. Okay. She didn't give you even except for. Okay, that's enough. I won't give you this example. So you already took 4 examples for decomposition: calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate, and both of them are the same, exactly the same results, the same. Okay, and what about nitrate? It provides oxygen and nitrite. Type. So we took two kind of chemical reaction. What is the name of these 2 kinds of chemical reaction?
Composition and decomposition.
Yeah, and composition mean whenever you bring one element plus one element
equals the compound.
Yeah, exactly, you will get what's called a compound. And sometime يعني أنا بس بديكي example visually عشان أنتي you keep it in your mind visually. إن إحنا هنا حطينا element plus element at the compound. This is an example of combination or composition. I give you another example for a combination between A and A. Yeah, which is an element combining with a compound. So this element combined with this compound. أنا هعمل كده برضو يعني ده compound وده element. Okay? Okay. Right. And when they combine together, they give a compound, the same. And the final, or the last one, was example of compound and compound. So it's already made of compound. يعني أنا عندي compound هنا وعندي another compound هنا. This is another one, and they react together to give a compound. So it's direct combination. And the second type of reaction is called. And what's meant by decomposition?
A compound that's broken down.
Using heat. So it's called thermal decomposition by using heat. Example of this is يا إما carbonate يا إما بحط لك carbonate or nitrate. The carbonate provides CO2 gas, and whenever you write a gas, it's better for you and better for the one who will mark the exam to put an arrow pointing upward. The arrow pointing upward means that it is a gas. Whenever you put this arrow pointing upward, so it's a gas. And whenever there is something which is solid, you can put an arrow which point downward, or you put S.
But some of them, I don't know if it's gas or not.
We already taken all the gases.
Carbonate.
The gases are chloride, nitrogen, hydrogen, fluoride. فاكرة الكلام اللي احنا قلناه؟
I know which ones if I look in the periodic table,
Yeah.
but carbonate is not in there.
Carbon dioxide is a gas. You have to put carbon dioxide is a gas, not carbonate. It's not carbonate. This one is called carbonate, but this is carbon dioxide gas. طيب احنا كده we already have taken ايه الحاجات اللي احنا خدناها؟ الcombination reaction وايه composition. ناخد بقى another example of the last 2 example of reaction. في 2 example تانيين of reaction. واحدة اسمه ايه بقى؟ اسمه single substitution. حاجة اسمها single substitution. حاجه اسمها دبل سبستيوشن. انت بيقول لك اسمه ايه؟ سنجل ايه؟
No, single replacement.
replacement. the same substitution mean replacement.
Okay.
لما بتخش لكم teacher جديده او substitution حد بيقولوا it's replacing someone صح؟ so the meaning of substitution is
Replacing.
replacement. ممكن تركزي هنا
Yeah.
هنا بصي بقى، لما نيجي نقول ان احنا عندنا single substitution، لما اجي اقول انه this element react with this compound، انا عايزك بقى تصحصحي معايا. صحصحة ولا لا؟ صحصحة ليه؟ مش لازم تصحصحة. شوفي كده الاتنين دول we have two element reacting together يبقى ده compound صح؟ طيب لما احط single substance، يعني مثلا example الكلام اللي انا بقوله ده عشان catch it in your mind، هنا اهو كده if this one is a metal, if this one is a metal, the violet one is metal and the green one is non-metal, okay, and the red one is also a metal. Whenever you put a stronger metal with a couple that contain a metal, this couple have a metal, right? And this is a stronger metal. يعني نخليها بطريقة عشان تنسيهاش اهي. I put it another way. This dude is a metal, and this dude is a weaker metal. تكوت يعني. And this is a non-metal. اهي. شايفها ازاي؟ أمور عليه. Okay. So whenever there is a strong metal, if this one is metal is weak, يعني أي كلام, with this metal is stronger than this one, you have do you know what's called something called the electrochemical series? طيب احفظي اللي هقولك عليه ده. Study it by heart. I will write for you here example of metal in order of strength. يعني ايه؟ يعني افتكر كده، ليه كنبة، انا ليه كنبة كمجال، ليه كنبة كمجال، وبعدين زن في سن رصاص، زن في سن رصاص. okay. if you study it now well and good, if not يعني you have to point for some of them على الأقل. دي كنبة كمجال زي ما في سن رصاص، وبعدين هنحط هنا هيدروجين. افتكري كمي غالي. يعني ايه كمي غالي؟ يعني كبر ميركوري ده كمي غالي. ليه؟ لأنه معمول من 3 حاجات: جولد، بلاتينم and silver. يبقى the last 3 elements are silver. The arrangement of the element in this arrangement indicate the strength of metals. يعني ايه بقى؟ يعني if I ask you which metal is stronger, calcium or iron? Calcium is stronger. Stronger as regard what? Stronger as regard what? What's meant by strength? What's meant by strength? Strength that mean it can replace the other one in its salt. The strong one, if I'm strong, I can knock the door of anyone. I bring it out and I get inside instead of him. I can do this if I'm stronger. However, if I'm not stronger, if I'm weaker, and I knock the door, I tell him come out, he will look at me كده يقول يلا بنلعب, go play anyway. So the stronger element can replace the weaker one, but the opposite is not true. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني احنا you have to study by heart these 3 elements: lithium, potassium and sodium. They are the top of all metals, so they can replace any metal. Don't forget them. lithium, potassium, sodium. انا قلت لك ليه كنبه كمجال زي في سن الرصاص. ليه كنبه كمجال انا عندي كنبه في البيت اعملها المجال بتاعي. عارف ايه مجال؟ مجال mean field, my field. I have a couch which is considered my field. اوكي، ليه كنبه كمجال. وبعدين زن في سن رصاص. عارفه يعني ايه رصاص طبعا؟ زن في سن رصاص. فانت عندك زنك، ايرون، ليد، and then hydrogen، وبعدين كومي غالي. كومي اللي هم كوبر ميركوري، وبعدين غالي ليه؟ عشان معمول من silver, platinum and gold, and these are the most expensive element, right? طيب احنا
These are the ones she wants us to memorize.
طب انت فكري معايا كده وانا هعمل لك اللي انت عايزاه. Okay, if I put zinc, this is zinc, okay? It's a metal, right? One of this group of metals. On copper sulfate. If I put zinc on copper sulfate, do you expect that zinc can replace copper or no? Take a look on this series and then give me.
Where is zinc? Oh, zinc, yeah. I think.
Yeah, zinc can replace copper because copper is below hydrogen. Copper is here below hydrogen, and zinc is here is above hydrogen. So zinc can replace copper. Actually, she can do it the question in another way. I will tell you how. Zinc plus copper sulfate, so the zinc will replace copper, and it will give you zinc sulfate plus copper will get out, and he'll be crying. Yeah, he's very upset and very sad, and that's why he will go down. Okay, precipitated. So a metal, when a metal replace another one, the replaced metal A will be precipitated. Okay, so you can write it solid S. Type. I will ask you in the same way. Can the opposite
solid
takes
is
place?
down,
Yeah,
and what's up?
with the gas. Okay. Can copper replace zinc in zinc sulfate?
No.
So whenever she write an equation like this one in the exam, you write beside it no reaction. She will be very proud of you.
I don't think she'll trick us like that.
You write, actually it's you have to think that she can trick you. Yeah, she can. So you have to know that the copper cannot replace zinc, but zinc can replace copper. Okay, why? Because zinc is more active than copper. Okay, it's difficult. Type. This kind of reaction is called, why they call it single substitution or single replacement. Why do you think?
Because only one is replaced.
Because only one, which is a cation. You know, this is a cation part. The metal is a cation. So the cation is the part which is replaced, and the sulfate remain in the product. So the one who is substituted is one cation. So it's sometimes called single cation replacement. Single cation replacement. Because this one is single, and then he replaced copper, and copper gets out alone. طيب هسألك سؤال تاني. Can magnesium react with HCl or no? Can magnesium as a metal can replace hydrogen in the acid or no? Yeah, it can. So whenever you put magnesium plus HCl, it will give you magnesium
Cl plus H.
Cl plus H. بس أنا عايز الرياكشن كده is wrong. It's written in the wrong way because you forgot the most important step in writing the balance. Is to write the positive 2 and the negative 1 from your table, and then to do the cross. So it's written MgCl2, and there is no hydrogen atoms. The hydrogen should be written
H2.
H2. It's not right to write. It will not be forgiven if you write H or Cl or O or N without writing 2. Whenever the element is single, any gas is written 2. Cl2, H2N2, O2, F2, Br2. طيب احنا هنا كده الهيدروجين gas will evolve, right? Can you balance this equation? Magnesium plus HCl طلع magnesium chloride plus hydrogen. Can you balance this equation, please?
What's on the other side?
Magnesium chloride plus hydrogen.
Oh.
Magnesium plus HCl gives MgCl2 plus H2.
You're gonna put a 2 on the H.
Here.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
And that's it.
And that's it. حلو قوي. احنا بقينا شاطرين في البالانس. I wish ان انت تركزي بكره. Please concentrate and don't have a lot of chances. طيب احنا كده عملنا ده اسمها ايه؟ what's the name of this type of reaction?
Single replacement.
Single replacement or single substitution. Okay. Let's move to the next one, which is double substitution, double replacement. What do you mean by double replacement or double substitution?
You switch to.
بص. We either put salt plus salt. خلي بالك وركزي في اللي انا هكتبه. Salt plus salt. Or salt plus acid. This kind of reaction takes place whenever you put salt plus salt or salt plus acid. يعني ايه salt؟ يعني example مثلا. I'll give you any example of salt, like مثلا sodium chloride. Plus another example of salt مثلا say CuS. For example, CuS. Actually, it's written in the right way because you know that I did the balance in my head. Positive 1, negative 1, positive 2, negative 2. So I'm sure that's the right one. Whenever you put these two as, they will do what's called double substitution. You give me your partner, I give you my partner. It's kind of exchange. يعني هنا this couple will exchange with this couple. That's why it's called double substitution. And here it's not double substitution. It is a kind of single substitution. يعني أنا هنا عشان بس أنت برضو you can understand well this part. Okay. ليه كده بقى؟ ازعل كده بقى، ازعل اهو. اوكي. طبعا مش شبه بعض قوي كده يعني، لازم نغير في شكلهم ونشوف ايه اللي هيحصل. هنا مثلا نحط دي كده ايه اسمها زليخة، دي اسمها زليخة. عارفة زليخة؟ ها؟ طيب كويس. Which one? This one? The blue green one. Okay. So whenever they meet each other ايه اللي هيحصل بقى؟ They will ask to substitute each other. So the green one will take this one. اوعي تمسكي ميتال مع ميتال. Never تقولي الصوديوم يمسك الكبر. Never الفيرست يمسك first هيمسك السكند بتاع التاني. دايما the first element of the compound of this side will be attached to the second one. You understand well? يعني الميتال will be attached to the non-metal.
Na with S.
Yeah, the Na will be attached to the S. And the
You have a C.
chloride will be attached to Cu. So what is the resulting compounds? What are the resulting compounds? عايزك تقوليهم بالبالانس بتاعهم. يعني مش بالانس، الفورمولا صح.
Na2S.
الحلاوة دي على طول كده في الجون. اوكي. Na انا بحب اعملها كده NaS عشان ما تلخبطش. انت you did it in your mind. Actually after few days or weeks it will be very يعني it will be very easy for you to do it in your mind and تعملي crossing directly. طيب يبقى Na2S right plus
CO2.
you wrote the second first and the first second. It will never be. The first will be always first.
Oh.
Exactly. طيب I want the balance of this equation.
I have to rewrite it. It's so messy.
Okay. Write it down.
NaCl plus
I'm doing something messy.
No, not like that.
Not exactly, but kind of. NaCl plus طبعا هكتبها لك اهو.
Oh, okay.
CuS
Okay. There's gonna be a 2 over there in front of Na.
in front of Na2 because here there is 2. Exactly.
And that's it.
That's it. Exactly. برافو عليك. شاطر. Can we take another example of double substitution in which an acid instead of a salt؟ بدل salt في acid. يعني مثلا for example لو أنا حطيت H2SO4 is an acid, right؟ عرفت منين إن هو acid؟ عرفت منين H2SO4؟
Because there's hydrogen.
There's hydrogen in front of it, right? Plus, let's take example NaCl for the second time. So it's a salt plus a acid. The same will take place. So
Na
yeah,
is with H2. Oh no, sorry. No. Na2.
it's a bullet in the head.
Na2.
Na2.
And then wait. Hydrogen has +1, right?
Hydrogen will not be attached to sodium because both of them are positive. The first will not be attached to the first.
So just Na.
Na with sulfate. انت فين why يعني sulfate will be attached, will be directed to Na. The extreme will be attached to each other. The closer will be attached to each other. Those who are close will be attached to each other. So the hydrogen and chloride will attach to each other.
SO4 is -2.
Yeah.
Okay, so Na2 and then SO4
SO4 وبعدين plus
plus
don't
H
do the same mistake another time. H, yeah,
and Cl. They cross out. HCl.
HCl. Do the balance. I will write it in a good way because it's a mess. هتعمليها؟
Yeah.
Okay. NaCl plus H2SO4 Na2SO4 plus HCl.
Okay, there's gonna be a 2 in front of the Na.
Na here, right?
Yeah.
Hmm?
So CO2. And then there's gonna be a 2 at the Cl.
Excellent.
And then that's it.
Okay, exactly. So we already took the kinds of reaction. We have 4 important types of reaction. First one is composition, in which an element combined with an element, or an element combined with a compound, or a compound combined with a compound. Element with element give compound, like H2 plus O2 give water. O2 plus NO is a compound. This one is a compound. Compound plus element give a compound. And the last one is compound plus compound, like the example of ammonia plus HCl. Okay? All of these are considered as composition. What about the decomposition reaction?
Is when the compound is
Broken down into simpler form. So it's calcium carbonate will be any carbonate will give
carbonate CO2.
CO2, nitrate.
Nitrate is I don't want to look.
You have two gases. One is in and the other is out of your breath.
O2.
So carbon dioxide is out and oxygen is in. All the time you are breathing oxygen and then you get out a carbon dioxide. طيب كده احنا خلصنا. We finished the type of reaction. The last two types of reaction are simple substitution or single substitution replacement or double replacement. Here one cation. خلي بالك ان الكاتاين replace cation مش anion. The cation replace a cation. In another word, a metal replace a metal. A metal replace a metal. Can any metal replace another metal, or there is a rule should be stronger and more reactive. طبعا انت لو عايز تحفظيها بالطريقه الكنبه كمجال احفظيها. if مش عايزه تحفظيها يبقى you have lithium, potassium and sodium. دول تعرفين كويس قوي. تعرفي الكبر actually this is يعني الحاجات اللي بتبقى بتتقال كتير. الكبر والزنك دول احفظيهم لي بليز. السيكونس بتاعهم ان الموست اكتف از صوديوم اند بوتاسيوم وبعدين الزنك is less active والكوبر is the least in this group of element I pointed to. What about this double substitution reaction in which two compounds react together but they are substituting their cations and anions? يعني each one of them will replace the other in its salt. Okay? وخدنا two example يا إما salt plus salt يا إما salt وacid. These are the four kinds of reaction. And we will solve the questions, but before I want to know what are the other topics that we didn't go through.
Balance reaction.